When it comes to the first two titles in the Assassin's Creed series, there are about a dozen unique locations that players get to travel across and explore. From the intensity of the Third Crusade to the subtle violence of the Italian Renaissance, there is no shortage of interesting places to explore. These games did an excellent job transporting those who chose to play them to cities that hadn't been seen in this form in centuries. The Ubisoft team is well known, especially with its earlier titles, for meticulously recreating these places as they appeared to the citizens of the day, and it really felt like that when those games were released. As a bit of a side project for myself, I decided to look back at some of the cities we have explored on this channel thus far and give a rough ranking on where they stand with regard to my fondness for them. That means this will be quite the subjective list. Feel free to disagree, but without any further ado, here are my top 5 cities from the first 2 Assassin's Creed games. Coming in the respectable 5th spot, we have Damascus from the original Assassin's Creed, the oldest capital city in the world. Damascus is the bright spot in a relatively dreary and bleak game world. Rounding that corner on the road that leads to the city is still just as stunning as it was back in 2007. The mighty city pops out with its beautiful walls and numerous towers and can't help but grab the player as they make their way towards the main gate. But its beauty is much more than just on the surface. As players make their way into the city proper, they are greeted by beautiful buildings and the city's major water source, the Barada River. This water feature cuts along one side of the town and features some wonderful bridges and even a small waterfall.
Comes the English king and his infidel army. They leave horrors in their wake.
You want it? I've got it.
What truly stands out in Damascus, for me at least, are the markets that dot the city. The Souk Saraju and the Souk al-Salah add such a real feeling to this ancient city, with vendors selling their wares in these unique roofed structures.
Everything perfectly right. You like everything here. You find it here. I'm not sure. I do not have.
Come!
Something caught your eye?
And the wonderful towers that dot the landscape also give players great opportunities to get a magnificent view of the place and its numerous impressive buildings, including palaces as well as famous mosques. This city is bright and bustling and features the absolute best orator in the entire Assassin's Creed series, and can't help but put a smile on players' faces.
Pray that God, glorious and exalted is he, finds favor with us, that he may grant us victory. Curse him! Curse the Christian king and his army of infidels! They go against the will of God and must be made to pay.
And he is all over the place. You can hear him all the time. It's amazing. While Acre and Jerusalem have their own charms, it's Damascus that I always want to return to when I pick up Assassin's Creed again. All of these things combine to land Damascus at the 5th spot in our list, and we will actually be staying in this game for number 4. In our 4th slot, though not nearly as complex or alive as Damascus, Masyaf is one of the more visually interesting areas in the entire Assassin's Creed game. To start, this is where the entire franchise begins. It's therefore a sacred location. Masyaf is the player's introduction to cities, to adventuring, to leaps of faith, to the entire franchise, and it does this spectacularly well. To start with, the gate is wild, a wooden and massive structure that has to stand nearly 30 feet tall. And the way the developers created this city means the entire area focuses on the brilliant fortress at the crest of this mountain. It stands hundreds of feet in elevation above where players enter the city, and this works wonderfully to display the power this structure holds, and therefore the power the player has, as well as the power the assassins have. This is a city and a fortress that demands attention. Aside from the fortress, there are numerous points where players can practice their leaps of faith, can practice hiding in plain sight, and to just have fun with the area. It feels like a playground with minimal stakes. On top of this, that iconic first leap of faith in this game, that area is still open after the beginning part of the game, so players can continually make that enormous leap into the hay bale, make their way across, and just enjoy the view around Masyaf. The beautiful mountain ranges around the area, the intricate castle, the lovely town, and the fact that it feels like a fun place to be makes Masyaf number 4 on our list. For number 3 on the list, we are moving to the first city players explore in Assassin's Creed 2, Florence. Florence is the home of the Auditore family and acts as a beautiful introduction to this magnificent game. The world building and layout of cities was great in the first Assassin's Creed, but players will realize quite quickly as they race their brother through Florence that Assassin's Creed 2 ratchets that up to a whole new level. The streets come to life as players make their way along the early game quest lines. The city really feels alive and features some of the most beautiful structures in all of Italy, including multiple basilicas, the Basilica di San Lorenzo and the Basilica di Santa Maria Novella, as well as beautiful family palazzos all over the city. Florence acts as a great introduction to the game world because it has challenging climbs, thin alleyways, wide streets, and most importantly, stunning viewpoints. What puts Florence above Damascus and Masyaf and other cities from these games is the improved flow of the city, its warm atmosphere, and how it reveals itself to players. The memorable missions that take place here help push it to number 3 on our list. Number 2 in our list of favorite and most memorable cities in the first Assassin's Creed games is Monteriggioni. Now, I'll be honest, this may be a surprise to some of those who have played through Assassin's Creed 2. The introduction to this tiny town is not flattering at all. After the game has killed 3 members of your family, and you have to evacuate beautiful Florence, players stumble through the streets of this dirty and depressing town.
Again and on and on. I cannot keep track, so I have stopped trying. These are a bit rough around the edges. I wish I could do something about it, but I just don't have the time or money to fix things up.
Shops are boarded up, the people seem upset, and the villa that you'll be staying in is a complete mess, at least on the outside. But the reason why this city is this high up on the list is the transformation that it goes through as players invest in its revival. The architect for the reopening of the city's military barracks, brothel, thieves guild, well, and even mine is such a great feature in the game because it is completely unique. Some of these upgrades and updates actually open up hidden areas of the town. Watching this place change from borderline backwater to impressively beautiful city is a treat unlike any other in these games, and it isn't hard for players to take pride in the improvements that they make in their new home. Monteriggioni is dominated by the beautiful villa, which functions as a progress tracker and a great armory, and this new home holds just enough mystery to make it always an interesting exploration for players as they progress through Assassin's Creed 2. More than just a base of operations, there are some interesting activities to undertake while in Monteriggioni. You can unlock Altair's armor, you can find the trophies that are scattered around the town, explore the church, the well, the mines, as well as the surrounding countryside. For all those reasons, Monteriggioni stands as number 2 on our list of most memorable cities in the first Assassin's Creed games. And finally, number 1 on the list is the beautiful, unmatched Venice. And this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone who's played these two titles, and Assassin's Creed 2 even knows what they have, as this is the only town with a formal introductory tour.
Ah, Venezia. What other place is as beautiful, as stable, as perfect?
There are no others, random tour guide dude.
Come, I will show you her wonders.
Take it away, dude.
Our first stop, the Rialto Bridge. Behold the elegance with which she spans the Grand Canal, a symbol of Venetian unity and pride. Here we are, San Giacomo di Rialto, oldest church in Venezia. Isn't she beautiful? And her clock tower, magnifico. No other city can match the size of Venezia's markets, be it spices or silk, from near and far. There is...
No better option. You're right, dude. Moving on.
And here we have the Palazzo della Seta, home to Emilio Barbarigo.
And this doesn't even include some of the most magnificent areas in Venice, including the Basilica di San Marco. Venice in Assassin's Creed 2, as in real life, blends waterways and smooth streets beautifully and in a unique way for this game. While Florence and Monteriggioni can match some of Venice's historic structures and their beauty, neither city can hold a candle to the atmosphere the developers created within Venice, especially for the entire Carnevale arc of this game and the district that continues that fun. There's just nothing like it in Assassin's Creed 2. There are so many iconic moments that occur within this city, so many fun memories, and it's clear why this city anchors the last section of the game. For all those reasons and more, Venice rightfully stands on the top spot in our list of most memorable cities across Assassin's Creed 1 and 2.
Come, we have much to do.
Do you agree with the list? Do you disagree? Well, let me know how you feel, and thank you so much for watching. Both games are a pleasure, and I encourage anyone who hasn't played them or even hasn't played them in a while to take a look back. Thank you so much for watching again, and we'll catch you next time.